Now, for those in the audience getting to know you for the very first time, care to share where you were born?
I was born in Akron, Ohio. Yeah.
And care to share where you were raised as well?
I was raised in Akron, Ohio. Area code 44303. Yeah.
And does it get any more specific than that, like a certain portion in particular of Akron for you, perhaps?
Not really. I was born, raised on the west side of Akron. A lot of crime over there, but, I keep my nose straight.
And do you still reside in Akron today?
Yes, sir. I still stay in Akron. Well, Cuyahoga Falls, but the Akron for sure. Summit County.
And is that area you just mentioned, the Falls, is that in Akron or outside of Akron?
That is the suburbs of Akron, Ohio. See, Akron is crazy. The crime is, but I stay on the outskirts in the suburbs.
Now, when it comes to the west side of Akron, what age range do you think you resided there?
I moved to Akron at like age 4 on the west side, and pretty much I grew up until I was like in my 20s, and then I decided to move because the crime was so bad, and I had to get away.
And just a further description about this crime that you've mentioned a few times now. Can you describe what kind of crimes that you experienced personally, or maybe didn't experience but maybe heard stories of, news headlines of, things of that nature?
Well, Akron's Akron. They get down, they get wild. I'm the first artist to be on this platform from Akron, so they'll speak about it, but it's crazy out there.
And for those that are hearing Akron, Ohio for the very first time, but might not be familiar with it, maybe familiar with Cleveland or Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
How far of a distance is Akron from maybe either of those locations?
So Cleveland is a 29-minute drive, 25, and then Cincinnati is a good three hours. So Cleveland is really the closest to Akron. So, you got a lot of, I'm in Cleveland, and then, I'm in Akron type things. So
Now, is there a difference between Akron and Cleveland?
The only difference is Cleveland is a lot bigger. See, Akron, it get down just as much as Cleveland. So Cleveland be like, oh, yeah, Akron ain't this. Akron get down too. So, you know what I'm saying?
Now, can you spot which city a person is from when you first meet them?
Not really. I don't know. You can't really, nah, you can't. You can't. Nah.
Can't tell by the way they dress, by the way they speak.
Oh, them Baltimore, they be like, you can tell on the Baltimore, but on the Chicago side, I don't know how they really talk, but yeah, you could tell when somebody's from Baltimore, a nigga from Baltimore, a nigga from Chicago. But if you from Cleveland, Akron, it's about the dress code. Like, a nigga from Cleveland, the dress way different from a nigga from Akron. Like, a nigga from Akron wear Gucci, Louis. A nigga from Cleveland be still rocking True Religion type shit. So, you know what I'm saying? Akron's that city. You know what I'm saying?
And is it territorial or beef between these cities, Akron and Cleveland?
Nah, it's no beef. Nah, shout out Ohio, period. Yeah, no beef.
Was it ever one city against another at one point, or it never was?
Nah, we all won.
And anything else you want to mention about either of these cities in comparison, or question you weren't asked, people want to know just about that.
Shout out to the 216, shout out to 330. That's all I got to say. Shout out to both cities. For sure.
Now, you've already shed a little bit of light to this next answer that you're going to be questioned about, but just in case you want to go a little bit further, and if not, that's okay, we'll move forward with the next question. We'll ask you formally here, what was that really like growing up on the west side of Akron for you?
Man, it was crazy. A lot of experience because LeBron from our city. LeBron James, you got Steph Curry that was born there. And Shit, on the music side, you got Amp Pacino. You don't really have a lot of Akron artists that's doing it, like me on the other hand, I've worked with a lot of people from Chris Brown's camp to Sway Lee, Jeremiah. So I don't think nobody in Akron doing it like me right now. So I'm gonna put on for my city and put other niggas on the map, to follow through. So I'm here for the 330 for sure.
Now, when it came to LeBron James or
Right.
Steph Curry, have you had a chance to meet either of them?
Nah, I ain't never met none of them yet, but that shit coming for sure. I ain't never met none of them for sure.
And maybe you haven't met either of these two personally, but did you ever get a chance to see them? Maybe even in those days before the big spotlight in the NBA.
Yeah, I've seen LeBron. I've seen LeBron actually a few times. Just never like walked up to him and met him. But yeah, I've seen LeBron. Yeah, because he does things for Akron. He does a lot of things for the charity and things of that nature. So yeah, I've seen LeBron a few times.
But what about his high school days? Those days when platforms like ESPN and things of that nature were already honing in on him and his ability on the basketball court and televising his games and his highlights and things of that nature. Did you ever get a chance to go see him play in his high school days in Akron by any chance?
Yeah, I've seen him. Well, no, actually, I haven't. I've seen highlights because you got to think that was '03. I was like 4 or 5 years old when he was blowing up in high school. But I used to live down the street from his high school, St. Vincent St. Mary. Shout out to the kids that I grew up with, the Balch kids. Shout out Balch Street. That's where I grew up. I grew up on Crosby Street.
Now, for you, what was the bottom point during your upbringing on the west side of Akron? What was maybe your lowest point or most negative moment growing up in that environment?
Man, I feel like the lowest point was like I felt like my parents weren't really there for me, and like I was forced to be in the streets a lot, and people that I trusted in the streets turned on me. So I really didn't have no guidance, no older people really guided me. So I got into a lot of trouble, got locked up a lot, been to jail a lot, but that's what comes with it, That's what comes with it. You feel me?
And was this during your upbringing, like before the age of 18 as a juvenile, for example, or were you getting locked up and things of that nature in adulthood?
Adulthood, before 18, Akron's petty. I don't know if y'all heard of Jalen Walker, RIP to Jalen Walker, but the police, APD, they'll kill you. They'll shoot you. They'll pull you over. They'll find a reason to search your car. They'll kill you. APD is petty, and they've been studied. So, shit, you can't trust Akron Police Department for real. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't trust APD.
Did you have any relations with Jalen yourself?
Actually, he used to be on the wrestling team for Bookdale, and I've known him. I've known people around him. He was a good dude. He was a quiet dude, so he wasn't really in trouble.
When it comes to these stints with the jail, getting locked up, things of that nature, what was the longest you've done time-wise in one stretch?
I've done like over 4 months, 4 to 5 months being locked up in Akron for shit I didn't even do. You know what I'm saying? They'll lock you up. You ain't even do the shit. You got to prove that you're innocent. And you can't really speak out because it's Summit County. The judges and the what's it called? Them people, the prosecutors. Yeah, the prosecutors. You gotta prove to them, and they send you these shitty ass attorneys, public defenders, and you get locked up, man. You gotta fight your way out that bitch. There's people in there fighting bodies, fighting murders, fighting all type of shit, man. And free them because that's just how Akron be. You know, they'll pin some shit you ain't even do.
Now, this 4 to 5 months, was this county jail?
Yeah, I was in the county. Hell yeah, I was in the county.
And that was fighting a case, or that was the result of a sentence to a case?
I was fighting the case. I was fighting the case in that bitch, but you know what I'm saying? They ended up putting me on probation. I still got charged for the shit. Even though I ain't do the shit, that's just how Akron be. You know what I'm saying?
And what is the name of that jail?
Summit County Jail, man. Summit County Jail. You don't want to be there. Roaches, rats. You don't want to be in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? But shit, my nigga, like, shit get crazy.
And you also mentioned God here.
Yeah.
Do you follow religion by any chance?
I mean, I ain't gonna sit up here and fake like I'm just the most religious person, but I do believe in God. I do believe there's a higher power. I do believe that if you're a dirty person, if you're fucked up, you gotta pay for your consequences type shit. So, yeah, I do believe that there's a God. You know, I do believe in God. Sure.
And why that belief, why that mentality for you?
Because a lot of blessings, if you pray for things, they'll happen for you. You know, if you pray, they'll come true for you. You know, and I don't want to make it like he's a genie. You make a wish, it'll happen. But if you follow your religion, if you pray, no matter if it's Allah, you know, no matter if it's Jesus Christ, the job will get done. So, you know, that's just my opinion.
But more so specifically for you, is that how you were raised?
Yeah, I was raised in the church. You know, I was in church choir. I was singing in church. Yeah, I was in the church a lot. I was, Christian.
And with this raising, was it a more specific branch or denomination under Christianity, perhaps, that you were growing up under?
Yeah, it was Christianity. My grandma used to have us going to church every Sunday, Second Baptist Church, Medina, Ohio. So, yeah, it was pretty much that, you know.
Grandmother on your mother's side or father's side you're referencing here?
My mom's mom. My grandma, R.I.P. Grandma Wilda. I love you, baby. You know, but yeah, my grandma Wilda. Yeah.
Now, dealing with your upbringing, your bottom point, things of that nature that you described previously,
Yeah.
mentally, has this been something you sought any professional help over?
Nah, I don't need I don't need no professional help. Nah.
Why not? Some people do.
I just feel like a lot of things you just gotta be a man about. You gotta man up, keep your chin high, and you gotta leave that shit in the past. Cause life moves forward. Your past ain't your present. So move forward and keep doing shit you love.
And just for the record here, you've never had any mental health professional in your life.
Nah, hell no.
Now, how were you able to survive that upbringing in Akron? Because there are some who don't make it.
I was able to survive by just staying out the way, you know. Don't get me wrong, I've done, certain shit, but I stay out the way, stay close to God, and pray every day, and pray, gotta make a way for you, for sure.
Now, there are some people who say things like, don't know if I'll make it to see the age of 18. Maybe 21, for example.
Right.
Did you have any of these thoughts yourself growing up in Akron?
For sure, definitely. Yeah, you always gotta watch your back at Akron. That shit, niggas get down out there, you know what I'm saying? So you always gotta watch your back. Shout out to my city though, 330.
What is it, was it a specific age you didn't think you might quite see at one point?
Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna see 21, the way I was doing shit, but I'm here and God's blessing me,
Care to share what age you are at this point?
I'm 26. Yeah.
And care to share your birthday as well, the month or the day perhaps?
June 8th, 1998.
What do you make of that outcome? now that you are on the opposite of that equation? 5 years on the opposite of that equation.
Shit, I mean, right now I'm working with major artists, so it's like, as time goes, I'm just making sure my family's straight, my kids are straight, you know, little Justin Jr., Amora, Anaya. I'm making sure all my babies are straight, so that's pretty much what it is.
And knowing what you know now,
Yeah,
on the other side of that coin,
yeah.
hypothetically speaking, what would you have said to your younger self? Back then, if anything.
I tell my ass stay in school, don't smoke, don't skip, don't be toting guns, don't be out here fucking with these knucklehead ass niggas. Man, there's a lot of shit I tell myself, you know, but that's what I'm gonna tell my son that he's growing up. I'm gonna tell my son shit that I should have been told myself. So yeah, that's what I tell my younger self. Sure.
And on the opposite end of the spectrum, what was the top point for you during your upbringing on the west side of Akron?
Man.
What was your highest point or most positive moment growing up in that area for you?
For real, just hanging out with my friends, you know, chilling, just really just chilling, staying out the way, man. Shout out my boy Raheem. You know, Raheem, he a solid nigga. So really just being around solid niggas, you know.
What about musically? When did that start for you?
Shit, I ain't gonna lie. I was writing music since I was like 4 years old. You know, I was writing little shit, and even in middle school, I showed my friends like, hey, you know, I'm working on this song. How you feel? And they'd be like, oh, this ain't that. This shit is trash. And I fixed the way my flow was. You know, yeah.
Anything else on the upbringing, the raising of Akron for you? Or question you weren't asked, people want to know just about that part of your life?
Nothing, just shout out to the 330. You know, I love all sides. I really wish we could all come together because this music shit, y'all can get paid like I am, man. I'm working with Chris Brown. I'm working with Jeremiah Sway. I'm working with a lot of artists. And I want the city to come together so we can all win. We can all eat. We can all make some money type shit. So I'm for my city, man. I'm repping my city and putting on for that shit. So shout out to the 330 for sure.
Now, any interesting or favorite memories with other recording artists or producers you had a chance to be around or worked with you want to share with the audience today? Looking back now at your music career so far.
Shit, I ain't gonna lie. I got like 2 or 3 stories. Like one, I remember Vito went live with me. Vito the singer. Shout out Vito. I fuck with you, bro. I ain't talked to you in a while, but you my bro. So, you know, we on live and shit. We chopping it up. He had this song called Hennessy and You. So I'm singing it, cause I know that shit, you know what I'm saying? And he like, oh shit, you know, he's singing it with me. So he fuck around, he posted on his story, he texted me like, yo, man, like, I fuck with you, bro. You know, if you got any music, I'll shout you out. He shouted me out, he posted me on his story, and that's love, man. I appreciate that. Another thing, I ain't gonna lie. Another thing was like me being on BET Jams. That shit was crazy. Kicking it with JoJo Simmons, Angela, and Rev Run's son. You know, kicking it with them. Kicking it with a lot of artists. I was with Black China at a point in time. Out in New Jersey, Atlantic City. So I know a lot of people. I've kicked it with a lot of people. So, and another thing, shout out Bobby Love too. Shout out Bobby Love, my nigga Bobby.
And when you say kick it, what do you mean by that?
Shit, party. Pop bottles, you feel me? Kick it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Excuse me. So with Black China, for example,
Right.
Was it just simply partying and popping bottles, or did it get something even further than that, like some sort of relationship or something?
Hey, no comment, man. No comment. Yeah.
BET Jams, can you get more into specifics with that?
Shit, man. BET, that shit was dope. Me and Bobby Love, y'all look him up. Bobby Love, CPT underscore OHB on Instagram. We got some shit coming up that's about to be on BET Jams. That's my boy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Bobby Love.
And do you want to share any title to that or anything of that nature?
Oh, Bobby, man, that's Chris Brown's homie. You know, he just shouted him out in a song, you know. Yeah, Bobby, he a real nigga. You know, he plugged me into a lot of shit, so it's all love for bro, for sure.
More so title, like, is it a music video title that those in the audience can look forward to that's going to appear on BET Jams?
Yeah, I haven't got the song yet, but when it comes out, y'all know because I post it on my Instagram. So follow me on Jaysuavemusic 1. Yeah.
And speaking of Instagram, when you were discussing Vito and you mentioned live and story, was that also in relation to the same platform, Instagram?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. At Jaysuavemusic 1. Follow me on Instagram. Hey, listen to my music too.
Now, who's been the friendliest? And using that phrase loosely here, could be the nicest, coolest, so on and so forth. Celebrity, and using that phrase loosely as well, could be someone famous, well-known, so on and so forth, you've met so far.
The most coolest in person that I've met has to be JoJo Simmons and Black China. Hey, JoJo, my nigga. Black China, I love you. That's all I got to say.
Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, who's been the unfriendliest celebrity you've met so far? And again, using these phrases loosely here, again, unfriendliest could be not nice, uncool, rude, so on and so forth. And again, celebrity could be someone famous, well-known, so on and so forth.
I ain't gonna lie. Probably like the most asshole gotta be. Really, I ain't gonna lie. I've never met a celebrity before that just was like mean to me type shit. Cause I'm that nigga. If you don't want me in your presence, you could be Beyonce. It's fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck about that shit, man. I'm a real nigga. I'm from what I'm from, where I came from. So us Akron niggas, bro, we don't bow down to shit. You know, if it's fuck us, it's fuck you type shit. So, nah, I ain't never met no, nah.
And also in regards to your music, when you mentioned you started writing at 4, what led to that? Because there are some that don't engage in music in that way. So, for example, they may listen to music growing up, but they're not writing it. They're not creating it,
Right.
producing it, recording it, things of that nature.
Shout out to my grandma that passed, Grandma Wilda, like I said before. She used to have parties with the family, house parties, play R. Kelly, play the Isley Brothers. And I'm picking up on that as a kid because we used to be jamming, vibing. So it's like, shit, I picked up on all that. So as I'm picking up on it, I just started writing music. For as long as I could write, I was writing music, if that makes sense. So like when I picked up a pen and started writing my first letters, I was writing music. Yeah, so.
And haven't looked back since, it sounds like.
Nah, I haven't looked back since. Since then, like I said, I've helped write for Sway Lee, Jeremiah, a lot of artists of that nature.
When you say help write, is it music that's out publicly at this point?
Not yet. We're still working on it, but it's going to be published soon. Yeah.